I know my cats are not enjoying that I'm using their cat tree as sort of a staging area, but to my credit, there's not a lot of room to put anything else in this space and to sit and film, so it's just going to have to be the nature of things today. Okay, so, oh gosh, I'm already messing up. Okay, so I'm gonna do a haul. I don't think it's gonna take that long, but it is ridiculous the amount of books that I have in front of me. But I am counting books that I bought before Christmas. I went to Small Shops in Rocky Mount. Is a sort of flea market type place where you can rent out a space, and there's a used bookstore near the front. And they often have really good deals on newer books, but also some older ones. And often they have like multiple copies, so it's really good for like teacher copies of things. We also went to Enjoy, because I gotta go to Enjoy. And I found a couple things there. Today, the day I'm filming this, was the first day of the Barnes & Noble 50% off hardcover sale, which I had to do because I'm slowly collecting the Penguin Clothbound Classics, so I had to. And then there were a couple of other books that were interesting. I also went to David's Used Books in Greenville, and they shockingly had a decent amount of things that I wanted. I need to stop. I'm aware of that. No one knows that more than me. I am legitimately running out of book space. Right now I'm looking at a bookshelf that I bought for my classroom that is just holding books because they're all up here and everywhere, and most of them are books I'm going to keep, but I do plan on like culling a bunch of these in the coming months because I just need to start reading from what's in my room and moving on. I don't need to keep bringing books in on a whim or because I think I need to. But anyway, enough about my consumerist tendencies. Let's look at these books. Okay, so let's look first at Small Shops. We're going to get those out of the way. I got this Robert Browning book for $2, I think. Yeah, $2. And it's just called Christmas Eve, and it's a poem about Christmas. But I love the cover. It's very fun, funky, and vintage, so it's going to go with my older books. I got A Ring of Endless Light. I can never find copies of this anywhere, and I think I had one in like an online thrift store cart, so it was just better to go ahead and buy like a 25-cent book. I bought Anthem. I'm sorry. I make no apologies for that. I know we don't like Ayn Rand. I think she was a cunt as well, but I like Anthem. I think Anthem is good, actually. I'm sorry for saying that, but it is. The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, where this girl discovers that she has like an extended family and she's having to come to grips with the fact that she's not an only child. Just seemed interesting, and it was cheap. And then In the Night Room by Peter Straub. Peter Straub was one of the co-authors of The Talisman and Black House, which I read this year because of Stranger Things, and it was a really good series. Like, it was really good. So I'm going to give Peter Straub as a individual author a chance and see if I like this book. Okay, from Enjoy, we didn't have as much. I have Early Sunday Morning, The Pearl Harbor Diary of Amber Billows. I thought of having a bunch of alternate voiced World War II things in my classroom when we read Night this year, so people can do some comparisons. Thought that would be interesting. I got myself a copy of Nine Perfect Strangers because I liked that book, and I might put that in my classroom library. I think that's actually it for Enjoy and Small Shops. There wasn't a lot at those two places this time. So now let's move on to David's. Alright, David's Used Books. I usually have store credit because I bring in books, but it was so last minute deciding to go today that I did not have any credit, but I ended up spending about $11. Ugh. I did end up spending about $11 on books, which is not a bad thing. Most of these are used, and a couple of these are newer books, which is nice. I got The Lottery and Other Stories by Shirley Jackson. I really liked the cover, and I really like having multiple short story bind-ups of some of my favorite authors, and Shirley Jackson is one of those. I got Rebel Heart, which is the sequel to, I think, Blood Red Road, which I read ages and ages ago, and that book is currently in my classroom library, so that's where this is going, because I'm no longer interested in this kind of stuff, but someone might, so it's going to a classroom library, so kids can read it. I got a copy of Hamlet and a copy of Macbeth, both of which are in this really cool bind up that match this edition of Twelfth Night that I have. So those are pretty cool. I really like that. That color palette looks really neat. I got this book called Snakeskins, which is about cloning and like an identity crisis. And it sounds pretty cool. I'm willing to give it a shot. I also have Gwendy's Button Box and Gwendy's Magic Feather, which I think are book 1 and 2 in the Gwendy series that just finished this year. I was very excited to see both of those, so now I can knock that series out at some point. And I think this is the last one I got from David's. The Girl with the Loudening Voice, which again just came out a little while ago. So very excited that I was able to get this. Looking forward to reading it. It is the Book of the Month edition too, so that's pretty neat. Now, on to Barnes & Noble. Alright, so before I show you the extra things I got, let's go ahead and get the Penguin Clothbound Classics out of the way. And actually, no, here's a Chiltern. I got another Chiltern. I have one of these. I have Picture of Dorian Gray I bought last year. This one is Pride and Prejudice. It's this beautiful, like foiled, floral. It's got a shiny bookmark. It feels like they're phasing out the Penguin Clothbound Classics, which is kind of scary because there were a lot more of these. Like there were so many of these. I didn't even look to see if they had Frankenstein. In retrospect, I should have done that. But anyway, I've now got 2 of these. I would like to have more of these. These are beautiful, all lined up together with the florals. And then for the Clothbound Classics, I decided this year I was either going to finish my Jane Austen collection or I was going to finish my Charles Dickens. And so they had more of Jane Austen, so I finished her out. I got Emma, which is teal green with these chairs on it. I got Sense and Sensibility, which is light blue with pink flowers. I got Mansfield Park, which is a darker blue with like chains on it in a like a burgundy, not burgundy, beige, it's a B word, color. And then last but not least, I got Persuasion, which is a beautiful like sage green with flowers on it. I think that's all of the Jane Austen books. I'll have to look at like the box set they have to make sure, but that's all that they have there that I didn't already own. I already had, I think it's Northanger Abbey is over there with the pink keys on it, and I had Pride and Prejudice, obviously. But I think that's all I have. And the only other one I got was Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence because it was orange. I don't have a lot of bright colors over here. I've only got like 2 yellows. And it's just pretty bright orange, so I had to have it. But that is all the Penguin Clothbound Classics I got. So now, the extra things I got outside of the reason I came, which is to get those cheaper, because like this is definitely a $20 book, but getting it for $10 is so much better. So much better. I got Sign Here by Claudia Lux. Is the one about the demon that's trying to get this last person in this family to sign their soul over to Satan to send them to hell. And it just feels very workplace comedy. Funny. I've heard a little bit about it, but I've avoided looking at people's opinions on it because I don't want to be skewed to thinking it's good or bad. But I've got that. I got Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives, because I read Clown in a Cornfield in October. I really liked it. I thought it was decently gory for a teen YA, like slasher horror book. So I'm going to read this, and if I like it, I'm probably going to put it with the other one in my classroom library, just for those kids who like something a little different. I bought a copy of This Vicious Grace. This book is so pretty. It's just so pretty. And it was a really good book. If you haven't watched my most anticipated, you know the sequel to this is on my most anticipated. So as soon as I saw they had a copy, I was like, I'll just grab that. And then last but not least, I got Ducks by Kate Beaton. Thanks to Stumble Upon, the old like toolbar extension you could do. In high school, it was one of the few things you could do on your computer that the school didn't boot off. I discovered Hark a Vagrant Comics and Kate Beaton. I followed her on social media since then, so when she released this, I was very interested in it. It is a big boy of a book. I don't know when I'll have time to read it, but it is a graphic novel, so it won't be that bad. But I was excited to be able to get my hands on that. And that, believe it or not, is all of the things I purchased for myself. But, because we're technically hauling, I'm going to show you what I got for Christmas. Okay, so this is the tease as to what it is. I got a folio diary for free because of the price of this book. I asked for this and I did not expect to get it. My husband surprised me with this, and it is in a beautiful, beautiful box. It's so pretty. The Never-Ending Story. I'm so happy to have this. It's beautiful. It does not do it justice for you to see it this way. It's got beautiful artwork all on the pages here. The inside cover is illustrated. The back cover is illustrated. It has beautiful illustrations throughout. I think there's a picture of the many-colored death, which is pretty neat. Yeah, look at that. This is so cool. And it has the dual color text from where Bastian is like talking to, or like the narration of the book is happening and he's happening at the same time. If you've read The Neverending Story, you know what I'm talking about. This is not a book for everyone, and I'm aware of that. It is a lot different than you're thinking if you've never read it but you've seen the movie. And I love the movie. I have a big affinity for the movie. But the book is a very, very well developed like fairy tale story, very much about like, you know, stories continuing, maybe not for you, maybe you won't be the one to see the ending of the story, but someone else will be around to continue it. I like that meta idea, I guess. But this book was so pretty, and I only really owned like one raggedy copy of it. It's not even really that good, because they just don't put this in print anymore. People don't ask for this book, and when they do, they're fine paying a little bit of money for a paperback and not like a pretty bind up. It's the same problem I have with The Princess Bride. Nobody ever makes special editions of those. But it's very beautiful. I can't wait to put it on my shelf and look at it. And it's big enough that I feel like I could read it to a kid if I decided to do it as like a nighttime, like bedtime story kind of thing. Would be really neat. And yeah, it came with a little diary, so that's pretty fun. But that's my haul. That's everything I got for Christmas and everything I bought myself for Christmas. My family would be very pleased to know I spent all the Christmas money they gave me on books, because they never know what to get me anyway, so might as well buy it for myself. What did you get for Christmas? Have you bought yourself any books, or did people buy you books for Christmas? Do you find that if you ask for specific books, they give them to you, or they just as soon give you a gift card? Because sometimes it's hit or miss for me. Anyway, I'm going to go find somewhere in this space to put these somewhere. I'm sure. Anyway, bye.